You want to know about retirement communities? Fine, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to talk about the amenities or the HOA fees or whether the pickleball courts are nice. I'm going to tell you what nobody puts in the brochure. I'm 103 years old. My name is Dorothy Kowalski. I've lived in this assisted living facility in Pittsburgh for 11 years now, and before that I spent 6 years in one of those 55 and over active adult communities they advertise on television with the smiling gray-haired couples riding bicycles. Here's what I wish someone had told me before I moved into any of it. The first thing you need to understand is that where you live is not a house. It's a decision about who you're going to become. And most people don't think about it that way. They think about square footage and property taxes and whether there's a Walgreens nearby. They don't think about what it does to your brain to wake up every single day surrounded by people who are waiting to die. I moved into Willow Creek Village in March of 2007. I was 84. My second husband, Charles, had been dead 7 years. I was living alone in the house we'd shared for 4 decades, and my son, James, God bless him, he means well, kept telling me it wasn't safe. Mom, what if you fall? Mom, what if something happens? Mom, you're all alone out there. So I did the safe thing, the practical thing, the thing that made sense on paper. Write this down. Safe and practical have killed more people than cancer. I don't mean killed their bodies. I mean killed everything else, the part of you that's actually alive. Willow Creek was supposed to be the dream. That's how they sold it. Active adult living, swimming pool, clubhouse, social events, people your own age, no more worrying about yard work, no more feeling isolated, a community. You know what it actually was? A waiting room, a very expensive, nicely landscaped waiting room where everyone sits around waiting for their number to be called. I walked out my front door that first morning, March 17th, 2007. I remember because it was St. Patrick's Day and someone had put a sad little shamrock wreath on the community bulletin board. And I looked around and I thought, where is everyone? The streets were empty. 11 in the morning on a Saturday. Beautiful spring day. Not a soul outside. Just rows and rows of nice little houses with the blinds drawn. And here's what I learned over the next 6 years. They were all inside, sitting, watching television, waiting. Now listen to me carefully because this isn't just about retirement communities. This is about your life right now, wherever you are. You are becoming your environment every single day. The people around you, the conversations you have, the things you see when you walk out your door, that's shaping who you are. And if your environment says, sit down, be quiet, wait for death, that's exactly what you'll do. Doesn't matter if you're 85 or 55 or 32. Look at your life right now, today, not when you're retired, now. Who are you surrounded by? People who are building things, excited about things, trying things, or people who have given up, people who complain about the same problems year after year but never do anything, people who talk about what they're going to do someday, but someday never comes. You don't have to be old to be in a waiting room for death. I've seen 30-year-olds who are already dead inside, going through the motions. Same routine every day, same complaints, same excuses, just killing time until time kills them. At Willow Creek, the ambulances came so often they stopped using their sirens. I'm not exaggerating. The management asked them to stop because it was disturbing the residents. Think about that. Death and medical emergencies were so common that the sound of help arriving became a nuisance. I played bridge there for a while, started with 8 women. By the end of my second year, 4 of them were dead, and 2 were in memory care. We stopped playing because there weren't enough people left who could remember whose turn it was. And the conversations. My God, the conversations. Did you hear about Helen? She fell. My doctor says my numbers aren't good. They found something on the scan. I go back Tuesday. The funeral is at 2. Are you going? That was it. That was the entire social life. A constant inventory of decline. Now here's where I need to be honest with you because I'm 103 and I don't have time for anything but honest. I did the same thing. For years, long before I ever moved to any retirement community, I spent most of my life in a waiting room. I just didn't know it. I was a nurse for 45 years, worked through polio, worked through everything. I was good at my job, head nurse at Pittsburgh General by 35, published papers, trained hundreds of nurses. At work, I was someone. I made decisions. I stood up to doctors who were wrong. I saved lives. But in my personal life, I sat down. I waited. I played it safe. I married 3 men, Robert in 1947, Charles in 1958, Frank in 2003 when I was 80 years old. You know what they all had in common? They were safe, predictable. They wouldn't leave me. They wouldn't surprise me. They wouldn't challenge me. Robert drank and had a temper, but at least I knew what I was getting. Charles was so boring I can't remember a single real conversation in 42 years of marriage, but at least he was stable. Frank was kind enough, but I married him because I was 80 and terrified of dying alone. I chose safety every time, in where I lived, in who I married, in how I spent my time. And you know what safety got me? A comfortable waiting room, nice furniture, good view, climate controlled, but still a waiting room. Here's what I want you to understand. The retirement community didn't do this to me. I did this to me. For decades before I ever moved there. The community just made it visible, made it obvious, gave it an address. You might be doing the same thing right now, choosing the safe job, staying in the relationship that's fine but not alive, living in a place that makes sense on paper but feels like death by 1,000 cuts, telling yourself you'll really start living after you save enough money, after the kids are grown, after you retire, after. There is no after. There's only now, and every now you waste is gone. My son William tried to tell me this, not in words. He was only 13, 14, 15, but in how he lived. William was sensitive, creative. He wanted to be an artist. He felt things deeply and he wasn't ashamed of it. And I tried to beat it out of him. Not physically, I wasn't that kind of mother, but I tried to beat it out of his spirit. Toughen up, William. Stop being so sensitive. That's not how men act. Be practical. I was trying to push him into the waiting room with me, the safe room, the room where you don't feel too much or want too much or risk anything. He died of cancer in 1987, 45 years old, and on his deathbed, I'll remember this until my last breath, he apologized to me. He said, "I'm sorry I wasn't the son you wanted." He apologized to me for being alive, for being himself, for not sitting down and shutting up and waiting like I wanted him to. I pushed him away for years because he reminded me of everything I was too afraid to be. And now he's been dead for 38 years, and I'm still here, still carrying that weight. You want to know what I wish I'd known before moving to a retirement community? I wish I'd known that I'd already moved into one, decades earlier, in my mind. The glossy brochures for places like Willow Creek show smiling people, golf, dancing, vibrant community. But what they don't tell you is that the place doesn't make you vibrant. You make the place vibrant. And if you show up already half dead inside, you're just going to decompose faster surrounded by other people doing the same. I watched it happen. People moved in excited, going to use the gym, going to join the book club, going to take up gardening. 6 months later, they're sitting in their living room with the blinds closed watching game shows, because that's what everyone else was doing. Because it's easy to give up when everyone around you has given up. The environment won. But here's the part nobody talks about, and this is important. Some people didn't give up. There was a woman named Vera Ostrovsky. She moved into Willow Creek in 2009 at 79 years old. I thought she was nuts. Signed up for every activity, started a walking group at 6 a.m., learned to use a computer at 80, took an art class, flirted with the maintenance man. People talked about her like she was crazy. Who does she think she is? She's going to hurt herself at her age. Vera died last year. She was 93. And let me tell you something. She was more alive at 93 than most people I've met at 40. Her last words to her daughter were about a trip to Italy she was planning. She was still planning things, still looking forward. The difference between Vera and everyone else wasn't the community. It was what she brought to it. She refused to sit in the waiting room, even when everyone around her was sitting, even when the whole environment said, "Sit down, be quiet, wait." So here's my advice, and I want you to actually do something with it, not just nod and forget it like you do with everything else. First, look at your environment right now, not when you're 65, now. What are the conversations you're having? What are the people around you doing with their lives? Are you surrounded by people who have given up on their dreams, on their bodies, on their marriages, on everything, or people who are still trying? If you're surrounded by waiting rooms, you will become a waiting room. Second, stop making decisions based on fear. I know that's easy to say, but every time you choose safe over alive, you're choosing the waiting room. I married 3 men I didn't love because I was afraid to be alone. I never traveled because I was afraid to spend money. I pushed away my son because I was afraid of what it meant that he was different. Fear will give you a long, secure, climate-controlled death. Is that what you want? Third, stop waiting for the right time. I had money. I could have traveled. Charles wanted to see Europe. I said, no, not yet. We should save more. He died in 2000. I have been to exactly one place in my life, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm 103 years old, and I've never left my home state because I was waiting for the right time. The right time is a lie you tell yourself so you don't have to be brave today. Fourth, find your Veras. Find the people who are still alive inside, whatever their age. They exist everywhere, in retirement communities, in offices, in your neighborhood. Find them and stay close to them. Their aliveness is contagious. So is everyone else's deadness. Fifth, and this is the most important one, stop measuring your life by how long you survive and start measuring it by how much you actually live. I'm 103. I have survived for a very long time. But if I'm honest, really honest, I've only been alive, truly alive, not just existing, for about 18 of those years. The rest was waiting, being safe, not rocking the boat, getting through. You can survive for 100 years and die never having lived. I see it every day in this facility. People who lived their whole lives careful and quiet and safe. And now they're 90. And they're not looking back thinking, thank God I was careful. They're looking back thinking, what the hell was I so afraid of? Here's the thing nobody puts in the brochure for any retirement community. Everybody there is looking back. They have nothing but time to look back. And what they see, what I see, is every time they chose safety over living. Every time they said, not yet. Every trip they didn't take. Every risk they didn't accept. Every person they didn't love fully, because loving fully is dangerous and terrifying. You're going to be there someday, looking back. And the life you're living right now, this week, today, is what you're going to see. Is it going to look like a waiting room? Or is it going to look like something else? I wasted 80 years in a waiting room before I ever moved to one. Don't make my mistake. The ambulances here don't use sirens anymore. It's too depressing. But I'll tell you what's more depressing. Realizing that for most of my life, I didn't need an ambulance. I needed someone to shake me and say, Dorothy, wake up. You're dying slowly, and you're doing it to yourself. Consider this your shake. You're not 103. You still have time. Not unlimited time, nobody has that, but time. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit in your nice, safe, comfortable waiting room? Or are you going to get up, walk out the door, and actually live? Because I promise you this, nobody on their deathbed wishes they'd been safer. Nobody lies there at the end thinking, I'm so glad I didn't take that trip, didn't say that thing, didn't love that person, didn't try that dream. They think about everything they didn't do, everything they were too afraid to do. I know because I'm thinking about it right now. Don't be me. Be Vera. Get off this damn video and go do something that scares you. I'm serious. Right now. Today. The waiting room is comfortable. It's safe. And it will kill you.